So we continue with planets today.
Yes. So I thank you for waiting for so long. I've been saying we'll come to the practical, we'll come to the practical. We have been torturing you. So today is the time when I will talk about grahas or planets. Okay?
Why Graha?
Yeah,
What is
graha
the
means
name?
basically which accepts, which takes. Yes. So basically, I would say that what is the meaning of planet? Basically, in Vedic astrology or in astrology, in any form of
Okay.
astrology. Now, there will be many people who will counter you, will ask you a lot of questions. Oh, you are learning astrology. Oh, you are practicing astrology. Ah, it's strange. Why do you call sun a planet? Why do you call moon a planet? Questions like this. So, in astrology, planet is any heavenly body or even any astronomical point. It may not have any mass, but even if it is an astronomical point, which has influence on the beings of Earth, even on the weather of Earth, even just on Earth, we call them planets.
Okay.
There can be some other things which mostly are astronomical points which we feel have less influence on the Earth, but they have some influence. We can call them subplanets, upagraha. So graha and upagraha.
Okay.
So there are two kinds of things. Normally we look at grahas. Upagrahas are very complicated and there are not enough information available in the available astrological texts about the effect of those upagrahas. But astronomical points are popular in Western astrology also, in Zoroastrian astrology also. Astronomical points are in use, definitely. So, which planets, in the astrological sense, planets we use in the Vedic horoscope? There are nine. Okay, there are nine. So, what are they? They are Sun, which is in Sanskrit Surya, Moon, which is Chandra, Mars, which is Mangala, Mercury is Buddha, Jupiter is Guru, Venus is Shukra, Saturn is Shani. Then there are two astronomical points which are actually formed by the movements of moon and sun, but they are astronomical points. So they are Rahu and Ketu. Now, if you want to learn more about how the pictures, how they are formed, you can look at the internet. You will get information
Yeah.
and you will see astronomical
Why
pictures.
and what
Why?
points are
What
there?
points? But basically, they are intersection points between the root of the sun and the root of the moon.
And in popular astrology, they are the northern
Node
lunar node,
and the southern lunar
southern.
node. So Rahu and Ketu. Now they are also sometimes called, Rahu is called the head of the dragon,
Okay.
Ketu is called the tail of the dragon. So there are such descriptions. So these two astronomical points are extremely important because they are used in Western horoscope also.
Also.
Yes. Okay. So these are the nine. Now we must understand that all planets, they normally they have to move through the zodiac. So from Aries to Taurus, from Taurus to Gemini, from Gemini to Cancer, like this. Rahu and Ketu move in the opposite direction. Yes. Now one can say there are two kinds of astronomical calculation about movement of Rahu and Ketu. Now in most astrological programs or softwares, you will have the option true Rahu Ketu or mean Rahu Ketu.
True and mean.
Mean. Now I personally use mean. You can work with true also, but there can be a difference of position sometimes of 1 or 2 degrees also.
Yes.
Sometimes just a few
In
minutes.
the ephemerides, this is shown. They
Yes,
show
yes, yes.
both.
They show. They show. So definitely I personally use mean. See, you don't have to follow me blindly. You do your own research. Gradually you
Let's
do.
mention that Astrocom, a Switzerland program, Swiss program, is very good and they give the ephemerides there. They give both
They
nodes.
give both. They are giving both. Yes. So according to the mean calculation, Rahu and Ketu are always moving backwards. And according to true calculation, sometimes for short period they move front and then again start moving backwards.
Actually, the astrocom is giving the tropical position. So,
Okay.
where do we find the ephemerides for? Uh, can you
No,
mention
yeah, there is
site or
no, there is like a site. You can see normal usual astrological
like
programs. There is option true or mean,
astrojyoti, let's say,
but there are
some kind
books. There are
in
books.
the
There
books
are
there
books.
are.
There are books
Okay.
definitely. I am an old school person. Sometimes I look at books also. So
Better.
they are called N.C. Lahiri ephemeris. Now we are honored to be in the city of Professor N.C. Lahiri, who
Okay.
has made calculation of Lahiri Ayanamsa. What is Ayanamsa? I'll talk about later, and that is accepted almost all over the world.
Yes.
So it's a great astronomer, astronomical mathematician he was. So he was N.C. Lahiri. So I have connection with his son, and they publish the Lahiri ephemeris. So if you sometimes like to look at some books, turn over some pages, then you can look at the Lahiri
For the
ephemeris.
sidereal astrology.
Yes, for sidereal, exactly, for sidereal. Yes. Now, what happens here that so the all other planets are moving in the straight direction usually. Sun and moon always move in the straight direction, never backward. Okay. Now, the other planets, that is the real astronomical planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, they usually move frontwards. Sometimes, for some period, they start moving backwards also. So, that time we call those planets are in retrograde motion. So, retrogression means is to step backwards, is to
But
move
again, they
backwards.
don't start moving back,
Yes.
but we see them
Yes,
this
so
way.
all the calculations in astrology are done with respect to the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, in school, have you ever read that Mercury sometimes moves backwards or Jupiter sometimes move backwards? If you look from the sun, if you are able to sit in the sun and you are looking from the sun, you will never see that.
No.
But when we are on earth, which is also moving,
Okay.
and sometimes it's like two parallelly moving trains. One train, both are moving in the front direction, but one is moving too fast and the other is also moving but slower. From the fast moving train, it will appear that the slow moving train is actually moving backwards.
Backwards, yes.
So that is the phenomena that is happening here.
Retrogression.
That is happening here. And what we are seeing here, that from the earth, it looks like Saturn, Jupiter or Mars, they're moving backwards.
Yeah.
So these are some basic information about movement of planets. The fastest moving planet is the planet Moon. This moves from one zodiac sign to another, like covers one full zodiac sign, that is 30 degrees, approximately in 2 and 1/4 days. Okay, Mercury in about 19-20 days, like this. Because the speed is never exact,
No,
it's never
not
uniform,
same,
it's not uniform. Sun in about 30 days, Venus about 26-27 days, Mars about 45-46 days, Jupiter about 1 year, Rahu and Ketu about 1.5 years, that is 18 months, and Saturn 2.5 years. So we can see that the slowest moving planet is actually Saturn. Okay, the slowest
Will you
moving planet is
mention
actually.
about even the heavier and slower planets which are
Yes,
used in Western
I will, I
astrology?
will, I will mention that. See, Saturn is the slowest moving of the Vedic planets. That's why the name Shani. Shani means slow, or it has
Okay.
another name Manda. It also means slow. Manda,
Manga.
Manda, M-A-N-D-A, da.
Manda.
Yes, Manda.
I
So which
didn't
also
know.
means slow. Okay. Now, of course, there are the existence of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which play a very, very important role in Western astrology. I personally do not ignore their influence and do not ignore their effects. Now, what happens? Vedic astrology has numerous techniques to understand their effects through different language, through
Yes.
some other aspects or something. You get the effect, you understand this is going to happen. But of course, there is definitely, you are welcome to use Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in the Vedic astrology horoscope. But please do it later when you know Vedic astrology much
Okay.
better. Now, I sometimes do it and it works. But it works in a slightly different way because they are very far away. And if we look at importance from the angle of Vedic astrology, we can at least call them upagrahas. In the level of upagrahas, at least we can definitely keep them. So they are important. And many Vedic astrologers in the current, let's say in the last 100 years or something, especially when they have been trying to make predictions on bigger things like on weather, on politics, on war, things like that, they have made use of these planets. So I think in the next video, I will talk a little bit about zodiac signs. So we will continue on.
Like generally, and then we start looking at each planet
We will start
separately
looking
at
at each planet. Every day, one planet, we will definitely do.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Please subscribe if you're interested to follow our series on Jyotish.
much. Please, yes.